There's a lot of Tesla stock news, and this story surprised me as a Tesla stock investor. NHTSA sent this long letter to Tesla, and the media, of course, covered it negatively, saying there are some bad things in there for Tesla. But Kevin says that the full letter, is insanely bullish and that the NHTSA is extremely interested in autopilot in a good way. This is not a regulator trying to shut Elon and Tesla down. This is a regulator who sees the benefits of saving lives with autopilot. It sounds like the concern they have is the discovery of Elon mode, which essentially removes the nag from happening on certain Tesla vehicles that a hacker discovered in the code. I think they are concerned every car secretly has this code written in and that it can be somehow activated, and the mainstream media is making that a big deal, completely missing the whole point, the bigger point of this whole letter. Elon Musk has asked a Florida state appeals court to block a judge's order that said he can be questioned in a wrongful death lawsuit involving a high-speed crash of a Model S, which I think is the right thing to do, because otherwise Elon Musk will be in court non-stop every single day, especially as Tesla ramps up its production. Tesla is having its best year of sales in Australia so far. The company is on track for its best quarter, with over 10 ships having already arrived in Australia in the first 2 months of the quarter. So far this year, Tesla delivered roughly 30,000 vehicles in Australia. Based on current trends, Tesla's sales in Australia are expected to be almost 3 times higher this year compared to last year. Australia is one of Tesla's fastest growing markets. And that's despite Tesla not selling any Model S's and X's. They drive on the left side of the road in Australia, and they don't make right-hand Model S's and X's anymore, so these sales are going to continue to be zero. Samsung is said to be the favorite to win Tesla's order for its Hardware 5 autonomous driving chip. It will use a cutting-edge 4nm process. Right now we are just on Hardware 4 and we are just getting started, so Tesla is already planning on Hardware 5, which is good. I like companies that plan way ahead, unlike most automakers that completely, embarrassingly missed the whole EV wave. Tesla should not be as big as it is today. Samsung already supplies Tesla with 14nm FSD semiconductors, and Samsung aims to enter a 2nm process for automotive chips by 2027. Elon Musk gave us a direct update on how much faster the new NVIDIA GPU clusters are. Earlier, we could only really speculate based on what NVIDIA tells us, but now we have real data from Tesla itself, and Elon Musk says that H100 is roughly 3 times faster than A100 in Tesla's tests. That is less than expected, but still, that is really good. NVIDIA even said that H100 is 9 times faster for AI training than the A100, so that's definitely a slight disappointment there, but still 3x faster, we'll definitely take it. That's also one reason why the Dojo supercomputer is going to be important, because Tesla is going to make a computer basically that will be specifically optimized for what Tesla needs. One reason why NVIDIA is not performing as well as hoped here is because it's not specifically optimized for what Tesla needs. FSD beta is now available on Hardware 4 cars, and here's someone's first drive on FSD beta with Hardware 4, and overall, this person seems to be pretty impressed. He said also single stack on highway is insanely smooth. He gave it a 9 out of 10. Tesla opens up nearly half of its supercharger sites in Australia to non-Tesla EVs. We have seen this happen in many parts of the world, recently in the US, and that really helped the stock, especially when all of these automakers made deals with Tesla to adopt Tesla's charging standard. In this news will excite an analyst like Dan Ives, who is really excited about Tesla's charging network and its future potential. He says that it is a $20 billion revenue opportunity. Ray here says that he has received this latest version 11 software update and he can't wait to try it out, but he's just curious why Tesla still bothers to push out incremental updates while version 12 is a complete software rewrite without 300,000 lines of code. John says, need that data flywheel going, need to keep current customers happy, and I suspect version 12 might be in shadow mode in version 11.4.7. Ashok, who leads Tesla's FSD development, did say that would happen prior to deployment. If not this version, it will happen in a future one. And Elon actually himself replied to Ray's tweet saying that version 12 is still training. Dan Ives recently said, and I can argue the FSD angle makes them, Tesla, one of the best AI plays when you look down the road 3 to 5 years. You will see more and more of this happening in the future, where analysts that usually don't talk much about Tesla's FSD will all of a sudden start talking a lot about FSD, and once it becomes apparent that it will become a huge moneymaker for Tesla, the stock, I believe, will skyrocket very suddenly. And all of the people that will happen to be out of Tesla's stock, not because they are not bullish on Tesla stock, but because they are trying to find the best entrance into Tesla stock, well, these people will probably miss out big time on that exponential growth. So I think I will probably feel sorry for them, but I mean, right now, they still have the opportunity to get in. I certainly understand the temptation to time Tesla stock because it is extremely volatile, and I understand how it can be really painful to be in Tesla stock during these very volatile times, and some Tesla investors will say that this pretty much sums up the Tesla stock investing experience very well. And while it does look like you're about to die, nothing actually happens. There's a lot of motion, there's a lot of things happening, but nothing bad actually happens. That's not to guarantee that nothing bad ever will happen, but typically, historically, that has been the case. But if it makes you scared to get back on track, I understand, but I'm staying on the track of being a Tesla stock investor. Tesla just posted this, and in the future, you will see more and more of things like this. This Megapack system, paired with a 4 megawatt of solar panels, provides this village in Hawaii with 100% renewable energy. Have you ever wondered why these supercharging companies cannot make their chargers work? I mean, it seems fairly straightforward. At home, you have electricity, you plug something into an outlet, and it works every single time. Not 90% of the time, but every single time, pretty much. So how come? Well, two of the largest publicly held charging networks in the US, ChargePoint and Blink Charging, have less than a year of cash left. They are burning through cash quickly as automakers frustrated with poor charger reliability start to create their own networks. But another thing is, Tesla is able to create these supercharging stations at a lower cost, so even if you make fairly good ones, but yours are just much more expensive, you will still struggle. So that's why I think it's much better for automakers to really partner up with Tesla. The local news in China said that the new Model 3 Highland trial test production is over. Perhaps if everything went pretty well, we could expect the new refresh Model 3 to come out pretty soon. Maybe as soon as this September. EV makers and ADAS providers like Li, Xpeng, and Huawei are now experimenting with their autonomous driving systems free from relying completely on HD maps, which would be a hybrid approach. Earlier, Elon Musk said about HD maps that they are a really bad idea, resulting in a system that becomes extremely brittle by being too dependent on the map and not being able to quickly adapt to changes in the environment like humans do. So it seems that the Chinese are starting to understand that a little bit now. Too bad that they don't have the world's best engineer and 5 million vehicles in their fleet currently already, which is growing rapidly. Also, too bad they don't have their own custom chips yet. Here's a story from Drive Tesla Canada, which we should follow. Kia surprises with EV5 pricing in China. Many industry experts pegged the EV5 at around $40,000, but Kia has almost cut that in half, announcing on Wednesday it will start at 160,000 yuan, or about 30,000 Canadian, or about 22,000 United States dollars. However, Kia nor any of the regulators have announced the specifics around battery capacity or range, but the vehicle is a compact SUV with a big interior, so we'll need to wait for these range numbers really first to come to any conclusions here. This here looks brutal. Imagine being hit head on at 55 miles an hour and walking away from the accident mostly all right. Well, this customer is now a Tesla customer for life, and he says that this is now a 2 Tesla family. Over time, as people find out how safe Tesla vehicles are, the sales will go up and the demand will increase. Once Tesla really decides to commit to advertising, I think stories like this would be pretty good to use in advertisements, as long as these families are okay with that. Refresh Model 3 was spotted this time in France. Jason has a huge Tesla stock position, and while I'm not going to refer to the specific numbers here, generally I do agree with this kind of sentiment. The reason why I don't get excited about Tesla moving from 237 to 257 in one day is because it's worth $1,000 today. If you disagree, then you haven't been following the engineering that this company is doing and the resulting growth, revenue, profit that will follow within this decade. You can buy a $1,000 asset for $257 is what Jason means here. This right here sums up very well how many investors generally who don't follow Tesla very closely feel about FSD version 12, which, by the way, is going to be absolutely revolutionary. It may take some time, of course, to still make it work, but the concept is there, and it works better than many have expected. And, for example, Stephen Mark Ryan was not expecting Tesla to go with end-to-end this soon. So I think many are positively surprised, but this headline reads, Elon Musk's FSD version 12 demo includes a near miss at a red light and doxing Mark Zuckerberg. The 45-minute video was meant to demonstrate version 12 of Tesla's full self-driving, but ended up being a list of things not to do while using full self-driving. Here, for example, is one of my favorite moments from the live stream where the car just intuitively knows how to pull up on the side of the road. It just knows it. It just does it. But that is not getting any attention, of course. And I understand why. I mean, if you don't have the full context, you won't understand that this time, this is actually a really big deal. Watching these more difficult situations and seeing how smoothly the car navigates has increased my confidence in full self-driving. And one thing that you don't see here is you don't see the steering wheel do this at all. That was pretty impressive, because if you watch any of the other versions, the car sometimes does that, and that really, when you sit in the driver's seat, it really makes you question how good is this thing. But here it was just smooth. You can see the steering wheel here, and you can see that it moves very smoothly and gently. There's no any kind of jerking from side to side at all. And also, speaking of things that many investors are ignoring, Cybertruck. Yeah, this is gonna be a big one. Well, this one seems to have been crash tested, and it just looks like dirt. It doesn't look like anything happened to the vehicle, really. Volkswagen software problems continue. Their EV transition is just not smooth. According to media sources near the Volkswagen board, the Volkswagen passenger cars brand was recently threatened due to technical problems surrounding software, with a postponement of the world premiere of its Tiguan compact SUV, which has been redesigned from the ground up. Who could have possibly seen this coming? Well, definitely not Volkswagen. Will they ever learn? Just pick up the phone, +1 for the USA. Many Europeans don't know this actually, so it's important to note. Then 512-516-8177 for Tesla's headquarters, and then say the magic words, I want to buy your operating system, Tesla. I would add one more word, please. It always helps. You would think that perhaps at least the mainstream financial media would cover the full self-driving version 12 and make it the main headline, sort of, perhaps. I mean, it's at least worth talking about, you would think. But instead, CNBC is leading this story that Tesla was ordered by auto regulators to provide data on Elon mode autopilot configuration. If anything, they are creating an impression that it is dangerous to try autopilot. Not just use it every day, but even trying supposedly is perhaps dangerous. It's not explicitly said, but I mean, you can pick up from the tone of the conversation here that it's what they actually mean. Gary Black affirms his bullishness on Tesla by saying, I have complete faith in Elon and the Tesla board. 90% at the time. It's the 10% when I don't, that sets Uber Bull's hair on fire. I sometimes disagree with Gary, but it's always in good faith, and I respect and I appreciate different takes from Gary. And I always like to seek out different points of views just to make sure that I don't have any blind spots. But looking at Tesla's long term, my view is very different from Gary's about Tesla's full self-driving capability and what that means for Tesla stock. We all know that Mercedes EVs suck, but I don't think many really understand just how much worse Mercedes is when compared to Tesla. For example, this is Mercedes EQA, their compact EV, and it does 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 6 seconds compared to Tesla's 5 seconds. The top speed is only 160 kilometers an hour. I mean, generally it's enough, but still, why? Look at the efficiency. The Tesla is so much more efficient. The range, yep, well, Tesla is much better here as well. But the real shocker is the max charging power, which is only set at 100 kilowatts, whereas Tesla can do a lot more than that, and the price is basically the same. Except, since Mercedes doesn't prioritize safety, you need to buy some airbags as extras. You'll have to spend about 11,000 euros on optional extras to match the Model Y's features. And of course, there's no frunk. And YouTube says you should watch this video next, but if you haven't finished watching this Elon Musk interview, watch this one first. My name is Matt Posius. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.